Hello everyone, welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime voice content in my channel. Today, I want to introduce my favorite Titan build for general everyday content all the way to Grandmaster Nightfall. I know everyone is saying Prismatic Titan is bad at anything that's not melee based, and part of me agrees that argument. I still want to share this fun build that I'm using every time I log on my Titan. This build centers around the newly added exotic chest armor, Hazardous Propulsion. This exotic armor is the key for stepping our build for endgame content. When you have this exotic armor equipped, there will always be a buff called Exodus Rocket with 6 empty stacks that can be filled. You can fill one stack by killing an enemy with precision damage, dealing multiple precision hits, or just kill 4 enemies. After you have any stacks of the Exodus Rocket buff, using your class ability will fire homing rockets based on how many stacks you have. As you can see here, my 6 homing rockets can deal nearly 50% of this Overlord champion's health on a GM, while being minus 26 power level, which is insanely strong. However, there is one more part about this exotic armor. Every homing rocket hit will grant you a rocket weapon damage like rocket sidearm, rocket launcher, and more with a damage buff that's based on how many homing rockets you hit. And you can see this as a buff as well. If you hit all 6 rockets, you will grant all rocket weapon damage a 35% damage boost, which is the same as Lumina. Let's talk about my Prismatic Titan kit next. I'm using Thruster for the lowest cooldown on my class ability, Frenzy Bait Melee, and Pulse Grenade. X-Pass is the standard knockout and consecration combo. For fragments, I'm using Facet of Dominance, Protection, Purpose, Balance, and Ruin. Facet of Dominance can jolt enemy when using Pulse Grenade, Facet of Protection and Purpose for survivability, Facet of Balance for melee energy, Facet of Ruin for larger ignition radius on consecration. For super, the newly added Twilight Arsenal is very good because it's a burst super with very high damage and it can weaken targets as well. Alternatively, Blade Fury is also a decent choice, especially for some higher end content where you need more survivability. Because not only is a roaming super that can suspend targets, but Facet of Purpose will grant you lmao, which is a 40% damage resistance when you pick up an orb. So, we want to make sure our class ability uptime as high as possible to launch those homing rockets. How do we do it? Let's look at the armor mods. On the mark, you want Reaper to take advantage of Thruster's low cooldown to generate more orbs for utility kickstart, which is our next mod on the mark. Distribution is also present here for even higher uptime on our class ability, but you can change it to powerful attraction for easier orb pickup. On the helmet, kinetic and arc siphons for the 2 weapons that I will be introducing to you guys later in the video to generate even more orbs for utility kickstart, and an ammo fighter mod. For the gauntlets, the most important ones are heavy-handed and focusing strike to get more class ability back. And the last one I went for is momentum transfer to get some grenade energy back, but you can change it to anything you want, like a kinetic loader for your weapon. On the boots, Absolution and Recuperation can generate ability energy and a healthy 60 HP by just picking up an orb. The last slot I ran with is a scavenger mod, but if you want even higher class ability uptime, Insulation is best in slot here. Finally, let's talk about the weapons. For my everyday content, which is Seasonal Activity and Master Lost Sector, I will be using my favorite exotic primary in the game right now, called Falstaff. It shreds all red bar enemies even on master content, not only because it's an exotic weapon, but the perk itself is also insanely strong. Every 7th shot is a ricochet round that bounces around targets, and picking up an orb will make your Falstaff a monster at clearing an entire room. It will make your next 7 ricochet rounds even more powerful by bouncing between even more targets. And you know what's the best part about the perk? Take a listen to the sound of the bounces. It sounds so beautiful and crispy. Not only that, the ads around the target are just dead after you cleared your magazine, which is the main reason why I absolutely love it. However, there is more than the perk itself. The footage that you are seeing right now is on a controller, and do you notice how smooth and stable it is? The scope is also very clean on stock or with the ornament, which is what I'm using in this clip. When you combine one of the best fueling gun with an insanely good perk, it just hands down become my number 1 spot for exotic primary weapon. Sadly, there is no seasonal artifact mod for auto rifle in this season to deal with champions, otherwise I'll be using this gun a lot more. For energy weapon, In-Depth Kindness is the best in slot with no competition now. The gun itself is excellent with an amazing propel, like Let 'em Go, Enlightened Action, and Impulse Amplifier on 3rd column. Surrounded and Full Shot on 4th column. It's very good for dealing with long-range enemies and an absolute beast for air clear. Combined with Full Shot, you can even stun Overload Champion. Not only that, with the exotic chest armor, it can get a maximum 35% damage boost on top of its high damage profile as a rocket scion. So, clearing high HP enemies becomes a lot more easier and ammo efficient with this rocket scion. For heavy weapon, normally I will use Eagle Edge Slammer with Cold Steel for movement. But on harder content like Grandmaster Nightfall, I will switch to a rocket launcher that can benefit from that 35% damage buff, like Apex Predator or Cross Termination. If you have watched my solo Flawless Lost Sector and Master on the new Pale Heart Destination, you will know how strong this combo really is, even when you are minus 25 power or even more. This is it, the build I really enjoy and love playing after I get all the pieces together. Even though Titan has arguably the worst kit for Prismatic Titan outside of melee builds, I'm still having a blast with this one. Not only is it fun to play, but it can scale perfectly to endgame content like Grandmaster Nightfall without changing a lot of stuff. Hope you guys can have fun with this build. Bye!